Welcome back to the Brew Crew Podcast, everyone. This is day 13 of the Advent calendar. JT and SFIL back again almost said the church room bar, in the Carriage House bar.
Carriage House, baby.
Best bar in Dayton.
Damn right.
13. Doing day 13. Today we got Maplewood Brewing Brownie Points. This is a brown ale with vanilla. If there's one way to make a brown ale good, it's to add vanilla, I think. So I'm hopeful that this is going to be good. Brown ales are fine.
Brown ales are
they're not the best.
They used to be really hot back in the 70s and 80s, and then they kind of
started serving them cold, and people started ordering them.
Oh, John! Bum, bum.
Oh man, that's gonna be loud. Sorry for the listeners who have experienced a lot of tapping and thuds.
Yes, our bad.
We're taking care of it.
We've got
except for that one blip.
Yeah, that one blip was my wedding ring. We have anti-thud technology.
Anti-thud technology.
That's right.
I don't have cool bar towels like Matt, but I'll get some.
We're going to get some.
You ready?
That's right. Yep.
3, 2, 1. Perfect crack.
That was about as perfect as it gets right there.
It has a good smell to it. We go ahead and pour these in glasses so we can see the color, the viscosity, the
nut brown
liquidity, equity, and all that. Look at that. Look at that pour. Maplewood Brewing is out of Chicago, Illinois. Great place. Great place. This is a 5.7% pint of brown ale. Yep, you can go to maplewoodbrew.com, which I'm sure Matt will cover in his review if he hasn't already. I try not to watch. I mean, I succeed at not watching theirs prior to. I usually watch the prior days in the morning, the next morning when I'm just getting my work day started, unless I have meetings right away, which sucks sometimes, but shit happens. Sometimes you have meetings.
Yep. 3 days a week, I have 8 o'clocks.
Can art, I won't even really come close to the camera on this one. This can art is, it resonates with brown ale, I think. Brownie points, maybe it could be darker, but brown ale is always kind of like a golden brown.
What's that dude on there? How does
he fit in there? I think that's the Maplewood.
The Maplewood elf?
I'm not sure. He's an elf for sure.
He's got a little pointy head. He's got pointed ears and stars.
Normally, let me look at my iPad here.
He's got like a little corncob pipe and stars for eyes.
Cover down while I look this up.
Okay, I got you.
Cool.
I'm on it. Okay, brownie points. Brown ale with vanilla. Be fluid. Be fluid. Brown ales, yeah, like I had started saying at the top of the podcast, used to be a lot more popular, and they've you don't see them as much anymore. I mean, you still see a lot of Newcastle. That's the giant white elephant in the room, the giant gorilla in the room, worldwide, I think. But you can taste it, right? You've got you've got some toasted malt going into that because it's a little bit darker, but you can also taste it, and I'm smelling it too.
I'm not seeing the elf anywhere, so it must be a seasonal thing.
Special thing just for Christmas, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? Interesting. Conversation topic. It raises questions.
It raises a lot of questions.
It does.
Very sus.
It does.
Very sus.
This is a pretty straight up brown ale. There's not a lot of variance to it as far as like a traditionally brewed brown ale goes. I think it's, at least on the first couple of tastes, for me anyway, I'm not getting a whole lot of vanilla. I'll probably settle into that maybe a little bit more, but it's all nut brown ale. It's all brown ale. And I like brown ale.
Nut brown.
I used to, man, when I was going to school in England, we used to drink a lot of Newcastle, a lot of brown ale. And English bitters too, which I've talked about on previous years' podcasts. Tough to find here, but one of these days I'm going to get some, and we're going to do a podcast with that puppy.
Oh, nice. We should.
Yeah. Ruddles, maybe some Ruddles bitter, little authentic British Ruddles bitter. You can get it in the States.
You can get it.
But
it's distributed here.
Hard to find. Anyway, brown ale, not super thick or dense like a porter. You can see through it. But it's pretty opaque, obviously. Brown. It's got a beautiful color actually, and like I said, you can really smell the toasted malt in it.
Yeah. While he drinks that, I'll say, we don't talk about Chicago very much on this podcast, but because there's been some disappointments, but there's also been some real high notes on this podcast. I was actually on, I don't know, a business trip or something, and this was way back when we had 3 on the pod. Cobra and Matt had Illuminated Brewing 2 levies. That was the first 5, I think, on the whole show, or the first dual 5 on the whole show. Illuminated, I consider to be top tier Chicago brewer. Pipeworks is up there. They make a lot of great stuff, really well known. And then Maplewood, I think, is probably up in that tier. Now there's there's some big guys coming out of there. Goose Island. For those who don't know, the podcast is made up of Matt from Wisconsin and me from Illinois. And I'm from the Chicago suburbs. Obviously, you move out of Illinois, you can claim Chicago. It's just how it is. Mm-hmm. And I have people ask me all the time, this is a map of Chicago on my arm. You can see the Carriage House bars decked out. This is kind of my wheelhouse here. Love Chicago. Lived there for many, many years. Just absolutely adore the city. Disappointed in some of the bigger brewers. But that doesn't mean there's not gems. And I think Maplewood has turned out some really good beers in the past. Is this one of them? We'll find out. But I agree with you. A lot of nut flavor, a lot of...
nutty, real nutty.
Brown ale, kind of malty, charred malt. And not as much vanilla.
Yeah, not so much. And
maybe I was supposed to pour it in a different glass. I don't know.
Not a hugely, not a giant soaring, alcohol content. 5.7. That's about right in the right range for a brown ale. So it's good. And so from that perspective, I'll say something you hear me say all the time. I know I probably repeat myself every single episode, but it's balanced. It has a balance because of that. They're not trying to pump too much sugar into it to artificially make it taste something that it's not, and therefore jack the alcohol up a little bit and have a lot of residual sugar or whatever. It's none of that, right? It's doing its thing as it's supposed to, and that's refreshing. I find that refreshing. I dig that. I like trying all the really different, unique styles of beer that we have in the Advent calendar, and then I like them interspersed with things like this, which are, straight ahead, straight up, traditionally brewed beers that you grew up with and you remember, and it's the way they're supposed to be, and they're benchmarks, right? They're cornerstones. They're things you lean against and go, oh yeah, that's right. Well, that's what a brown ale is supposed to taste like. Mm-hmm. How does this one compare with that one? So I think we do a lot. We end up doing a lot of that, I think.
We do, yeah, of course. We have our standards here in Ohio, like Truth, which is a Rheingeist brewed beer. So we compare a lot of IPAs to that.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of brown ales that I have like a fond memory of? No, not at all. Yeah, you have Newcastle, and I'm sure there's others. But me, no, not really. I know that the majority of brown ales I've had, I haven't liked, and I think recently or as recently as last year, I had a coffee brown ale, and I thought that's a decent compliment to the brown ale.
That's interesting.
Coffee. This is vanilla. I was really excited about it, and the name, what is it? Brownie batter.
Brownie points. Yeah, brownie points.
I was just like, this beer is going to be amazing. I don't know that it delivers, and I some of that. So you have to be careful. We talk about can art a lot on this podcast, but also we should talk about the name every once in a while. You might accidentally set the expectation a little too high.
Yep.
And some of the names of these beers, they don't go at all with the beer. Whereas when you have a brown ale in your hand and it's called Brownie Points, you're thinking, hell yeah.
I'm thinking chocolate.
It's going to be brownie. Vanilla even. Like a brownie with vanilla, in it.
I was thinking maybe they would have some chocolate notes in there because it's Brownie Points, right?
So I think maybe that psych out kind of fucked me up a little. Because I'm not as high on this beer as I was hoping I'd be. And I think a lot of that was that I came into this hyped up.
Yeah, me too. How dare they? How dare they F you up?
How dare they?
On hump day.
Name this beer more aptly,
Effed up brownie.
Like nutty vanilla or something.
Nutty vanilla. It's not even vanilla, though. I mean, are you tasting any vanilla?
I can taste a little vanilla in there.
John, it's so subtle.
Super subtle. And I think it's more of like, it's not like vanilla extract. It's more of like vanilla stick or something.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
something.
just like basically.
Like they waved
Like
the
it's
stick
a little,
over it.
Yeah, maybe it's a little dust. Yeah, it's not super prevalent. I'm not sure. I know vanilla's expensive, right? So maybe
It is.
You know, I don't want to be like, oh, you guys should have really broke the bank on this one, but you probably should have.
At least more.
Yeah, more. I mean, I could taste how vanilla would really just amp this beer up.
Oh yeah,
it would be really good if it had more in it.
Yep.
But
I think it would be so. I was excited because that would have made it really interesting, you know. And you could add a lot more than they've added without destroying the balance of the beer, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm totally with you on that. Totally with you on that. You know, brown ales are interesting in that they're, you know, how do you trick them up? How do you do something different and new and innovative? You know, how do you do that?
I like that they're pushing towards sweet dessert.
Yeah.
I think that's how you do it. And maybe add chocolate notes. Maybe add more vanilla. Pumpkin could also be a good, because I don't really like pumpkin ales. I don't know what the base of a pumpkin ale is. It's not a brown ale.
No, it's
so you could pumpkin this up. You could.
Yeah, you could. A lot of times it's porter.
I think anything you can do with a stout, you can do with a brown ale. Yep. Anything you do with a porter, you can do with a brown ale. And anything you can do at Starbucks, you can do with a brown ale.
Yep.
So, you know, make a sugar cookie brown ale. Why not?
You could make you're dead on.
You know, make a frappuccino brown ale.
Man, you're an innovator.
Thanks, man.
No, seriously, the
cherry brown ale. That'd be good.
You really could, because if you look at
anything you do with a stout, you could do with a brown ale.
Right, or a porter, or below it.
Or
so like on the
peanut butter.
You could anything, right? You could. That's a great point. You could do that's a steak brown ale. That'd be a little weird. Steak and potatoes. Yeah.
Ooh, you know what? If you could make a steak and potatoes beer,
I'd be eating it for dinner.
I'd have that all day.
You know, brown ale on the scale of beers and ales, brown ales sort of right in between the amber ales and IPAs, right, and everything below it, like a pale ale and all the other ales below it. Right?
And by below,
right,
this scale represents
lighter and not as heavy. You know, and above it is the porters, the stouts, you know, the double and triple IPAs, those sorts of things, the barley wines, those sorts of things, right? So it does sit in the middle, which is great, because you're right, you can do anything with it.
You can do anything with it. Yeah.
They should listen to
us. I could see a lot of different flavors being in this.
They
all pair well. I mean, like literally, this could be your gateway into, this could be your go no go decision on whether or not you should stout that thing. So let's say that you're thinking, okay, we're going to do a barrel aged release, and we want to maybe experiment with strawberry or something, let's say. And you're like, well, I don't want to barrel age this and have it suck, because that's a waste of time. Why don't you brew a brown ale, throw that strawberry shit in there, try it out. If it works, it'll work better with the stout.
It will.
If it doesn't, same ratios. If it doesn't work, then you know you haven't wasted any time.
Right. Right. Quicker to get to.
So there we go. So let brown ales be your stout canvas.
Yeah. Let it be your phase one.
Let it be your phase one. Yeah. And stout will be, porter can be your phase two, and stout can be your phase three.
That's right. That's right. It could be your prototype. It could be your little, your feasibility study.
Yeah.
Man, we've been looking at way too much of this stuff.
Too many government proposals, guys. But don't worry about
that. But that's a great idea, though. It's a great idea. It makes sense because
brown ales don't get enough love.
They don't. They don't get enough love, and they're deserving.
But rightfully so, because no one does anything with them.
You know, they're solid though, and they're really solid vehicles, and they're totally legitimate.
The vehicle, solid vehicle.
They are.
Agreed. That's perfect.
Yeah.
They are the vehicle.
They
are a vehicle for other things.
For transporting.
Don't just drink a brown ale. Drink a brown ale featuring something.
Yeah, I think you're
Brownie
right on.
batter brown ale.
You know,
boom.
Brownie batter. That's what I thought this was going to be.
That's what I thought it was going to be too.
Because vanilla and brownies, yeah. How good would that be?
Dude.
You know, your idea earlier with the coffee. How about coffee and chocolate, like a mocha, like a mocha brown ale?
Anything that's on the menu at Starbucks, you could do with a brown ale.
Totally. You could do that.
You could just have all of it. That right now they got that sugar cookie iced coffee. Fuck yeah, dude. And it doesn't come. It does not require all that sugar to be a sugar cookie.
Yeah.
Most Starbucks drinks are like 700 calories.
Yeah.
The sugar cookie is literally a cold coffee. It's coffee.
Yep.
So you could get it without cream, and it still tastes like sugar cookie.
Wow.
And it's like very low calorie. It's awesome.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's a good tip for everyone who avoids Starbucks because they have such high calories.
Why not make a brown ale called an espresso?
Why not? Why not? What's keeping you from doing that?
Which has got a nice creamy head on it, like an espresso does, but it's got that kind of, nice stuff.
Might bitter it up too much, maybe.
It would be a little bitter.
Yeah.
But you could offset that with a little bit more sweetness.
I'm really thinking if you took Crooked Handle has a great peanut butter porter.
Oh, that's close. See?
I think you could bring that down to the brown ale.
Brown ale, yeah, absolutely.
And just
I think
be
so
like,
too.
I mean, fucking peanut butter brown ale, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Let's
do that.
This is my 3rd year on the Advent calendar, and every year that I do this, I kind of get more and more inspired to start brewing again. Because
still going. Just checking on that. Yeah.
We're not breaking any records yet, though, man.
No. I want to make sure it didn't pause like it did the other day.
Oh, good. Oh, can you see that on there?
Yeah, I can see it on my watch. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. So it makes you want to get back brewing because you can innovate this.
That's it.
Because it feels
I can make a brown ale.
All these great ideas in beer, and no one's really thinking about brown ales. Are we the only ones who are thinking about this?
I don't know.
And Maplewood to some degree with the vanilla.
It's ripe for, pardon the pun.
It's ripe
pun
for
intended.
innovation.
It is ripe for the picking. It's ripe for innovation.
That's what we need to do.
And what about maple in the brown ale?
What about maple? A breakfast ale.
That's right. A brown ale syrup.
Canadian breakfast ale instead of Canadian breakfast stout.
And
CBS.
what do you call it? Maple syrup.
CBA.
Maple syrup.
Call it maple syrup. Call it whatever you want.
Call it whatever the hell you want.
You can call that brownie points, and fuck
Brownie
people's
points.
minds up real bad.
That's right.
You know.
Call it pancake breakfast.
Yeah, call it pancake breakfast.
Yeah. Wow.
Or you can make savory and sweet.
Savory and sweet.
Make a trail mix brown ale.
Make it so that
maybe it puts salty peanuts in there.
Well, or meat chunks.
Meat chunks, steak. Yeah, steak and eggs. Steak and eggs for breakfast, steak and potatoes for lunch, steak and potatoes for dinner.
Yeah.
Then a nice chocolate for dessert, chocolate brown ale. Just have brown ales all day.
Brown ale.
Now I think that
brown
the same.
The future.
Let me pose this. I'm gonna change gears here for a second.
Go.
My favorite style of beer, the cream ale.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe that there's not enough happening with the cream ales, and what could be happening because Mother Earth does just mind blowing things. Like if you put Mother Earth, Cali Creamin into a Sam Adams Utopias bottle, sold it to me for $200, and I drank it, I'd be like, this is the best beer I've ever had. Because when I had it in a can for $9.99, it was the best beer I ever had. I fucking love that beer. And that proves
we need to move their ass to Ohio.
Yeah, we need to get Mother Earth here. When you do great things with certain styles, I mean, it's truly exceptional. And I think that brown ales and cream ales share a lot of the same qualities to where they can accept sweet and they can accept dark. Pardon me. And you could succeed.
You're exactly what you said about the brown ale is equally true for the cream ale.
I believe it is.
You could use that as the vehicle for almost anything.
Almost anything. And some people try.
Yep.
But Mother Earth succeeds.
Man, they've got a great balance. Their balance
is the best. It's
beautiful.
So good. It's just such a good beer. It's
so
unbelievable.
Good. We got to get them distributed here. That's all there is to it. That way I don't have to drive out to California every time.
I had to leave a 6-pack there.
Oh, that just hurts me.
Doesn't it hurt? It's with family, so it's in safe hands.
Will they drink it though?
Maybe not. That's the good thing. I'll be back in February, and I'll drink it myself.
I think he likes it.
That's fine. It's a gift.
Oh, but the thing is, all he has to do is go up to the corner.
Yeah.
And he can go buy the case up there.
And but now he's got a free 6-pack. It's all good.
Yeah.
All right. So I gotta score this before I run out of it. That way I'm not, too far from it, too distant from it. I think that this beer really had potential. I think it is balanced. I agree with you on balance. I think it is an easy drink, oddly enough. It's not hard to get down. It's not too bitter. The that malt flavor is really balanced. It's really the only word you can use with the actual like water and liquid of the beer. It's just a well done brown ale. The delivery of the vanilla, disappointing.
Yep.
The name, disappointing, but I won't mark off points for can-related glitches.
Name.
The vanilla was disappointing, and I can't stress enough how excited I was to taste that. So, on the making of this brown ale, it's a 3.5, and any additional vanilla would have bumped that up. Now, so I really don't believe I can bump this score up, so 3.5 is where it's going to have to stay.
Okay.
It's a very well done brown ale.
Yep, it is.
Can a brown ale get higher than that? A standard?
Hell yes.
No, standard brown ale with no features. I think like 3.5 is probably a good starting point. You could certainly get a worse score.
Yes,
if you fuck up the malts.
Absolutely.
If you don't balance it out.
That's right.
Too dark, too light, whatever. Too hoppy.
Yep.
But this is well done, 3.5. But when you start, start prettying up this pig.
Yep.
Well, you could get into the fours. You can get high into the fours.
Yep. I believe so.
3.5.
I like it. I think that's fair, and it's honest, and I think that's a fair score, actually. I'm probably going to rate it higher, but I'm rating it. I'm going to put a qualifier on this.
Rate it whatever you want. Don't use my score as a
I'm not
as influence.
No, I just by point of comparison. That's all. I'm likening back to day 8. I know it's been a few days now, but day 8 there was a double dry hopped oat cream IPA. Didn't taste any frickin' oats. Didn't taste any cream. And the double dry hop was so outrageous that it made a West Coast ale look tame. It was just so out of balance that I like West Coast ales. It was way too hoppy.
You're ripping it up, dude.
I ripped it. I just ripped it. I gave it a poor score. This is the anti-West Coast ale. This has, it doesn't have no hops.
Doesn't have no hops.
But no, it doesn't. But the hops are in balance, as they should be with everything else. So you don't get a mouthful of bitterness and then try to fight your way through to actually find the flavor of it. You can actually taste it all the way through. So as John said, I totally agree with him. It is an easy drinking, easy going down beer. That's a good thing. You typically think of a darker beer. You wouldn't think of this as like a summer beer. I'd drink this at the ball field. I'd do it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
It's a drinkable beer. I would do that.
At the ball field.
So,
interesting.
Like sitting out in the sun, in the outfield.
No, I mean, I could place myself there, and I'm just curious as to what I really gravitate towards your cheap American light beers. I feel
really?
Just because I feel like baseball and Miller Lite go together.
Oh my God.
Busch Light, Miller Lite, even Bud Light. Some people, whoever wants it.
I saw a thing on Kid Rock last night. Tucker did an interview with Kid Rock, and it was about forgiveness. It was about okay, we beat Bud Light over the head. It's time to let them go, let them up, and they're trying to make amends, and they're trying to. I think they get it. So let's move on, right? Which I thought was an interesting take on that. But we're not here to.
I'm sure
here to talk about that.
Anyone who doesn't see the paycheck being slipped under the table does see that as an interesting point.
Probably
but
not.
I'm sure Kid Rock, someone I take no advice from on any topic, is probably getting paid to say those things.
Oh no, I don't think he is at all. I don't think he's a pretty independent-minded person. But
maybe not on that issue.
I think. We're very blessed. We live in a town here that has a double A? Is it a double A ball club or triple A? No,
single A.
Single A. We have a single A ball club here, the Dayton Dragons. It's a magnificent little stadium. It's awesome to go watch a game there. Take the kids there and go watch a game.
Super cheap, $8.
Yeah, and you know what? Grandpa Scott's getting season tickets for us next year. We're gonna. We're gonna go all the time because it was fun. We
It
got
is fun.
we got tickets from our neighbor last year who works for one of the local papers and had a bunch of excess. And so we ended up going quite a bit, and it was a lot of fun. But what the cool thing they have is down the first baseline, at the end of the first baseline, they got a little brew house thing where you go in and there's a ton of microbrews in there, and you don't have to drink.
It's awesome.
It's awesome, man.
It's awesome. A full
place,
pint, a plastic cup that's a full pint.
Yeah.
And you get pretty much a selection of maybe 10 to 12 craft beers.
Yeah, good
Perfect.
beers.
Yeah, good beers.
Good
local,
beers.
Mostly local.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. They know what they're doing.
Oh, it's great. And it makes you rethink. I don't have to drink shitty light beer anymore although I must say, when I was in college, I pretty much got through college drinking Bud Light. I'll admit to that.
Well, so a lot of I don't know how this is at the lower levels because my kids played rec ball most of the lower levels. But once your kids get into competitive baseball at the teenage level, most of the baseball places they play serve beer.
Yeah.
And it's all light beer.
Yeah.
And so I have this this constant memory of just chilling with the other dads, watching baseball with a Miller Lite, or they all drink Coors Light, most of them. So I like that, and Wrigley Field, I'm mostly drinking old style when I'm at Wrigley. Not because I like it, but just because that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, old style.
I don't really go for the Goose Island, which they sell now.
Do they sell that at Wrigley?
312 and maybe one other one.
Sellouts.
Goose Island IPA or something.
Yeah, Goose Island's very popular.
Goose Island's very popular for some reason, but Maplewood should probably try to get into Wrigley Field.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
I think I just gravitate towards the lighter beers.
Yeah. Well,
but I think a brown ale could work. You know what a brown ale would be good for? Football.
Oh, hell yes.
NFL football, a nice cold day in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Drink some brown ale, warm me up a little.
You're right.
And it's not like 11% beer.
No.
So you're good.
No, and when you're sitting under the hot sun for baseball, you want a lighter beer. I mean, a lot of people drink Hefeweizen. I'm not really a Hefeweizen kind of guy, but a lot of people drink lighter beer that's light, easy to drink, ice cold, because it's refreshing, and you need that because you're baking out in the hot sun. So I'm just saying that this beer is a beer that I think I have had either IPAs or brown ale or something out at the stadium. When I've been out there. So,
what was your score? Did you give it yet?
I didn't give
okay. I wasn't sure.
Thank you for bringing me back
no problem.
back online. Right. So, I'm going to give this a score that I think is befitting of the genre. So I'm not going to rate this against some of the other incredible beers that we've had already. I'm rating it for brown ales. I'm standing for brown ales, John.
Man.
And so I'm going to give this a 4.0 because I think it's a really great example of a brown ale. It's not overly spectacular, and it's not, and it's definitely not under average. It's a great, solid example of a brown ale. Could be better. Was expecting a little bit more. And because of the letdown of expectations, I think it could have been, like you said, could have been more. Could have been 4.25, 4.5 maybe.
Could have been a Hall of Famer.
Could have been up there. I looked at our list from last year, and I looked at the ones that I scored over 4, and they're all memorable. They all came to mind instantly. The triple smoothie, remember the purple smoothie?
Yep.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of them. Yeah. There's a whole bunch. Would You Honey? That was kind of.
What did you give the Kronk or whatever chunk?
4.5, I think.
4.5, yeah. Chunk is going to be a celebrated beer, I think. It got high scores.
I thought it was great
across the board.
I thought
even Stev's
really
dad,
great.
who hates sours, liked it.
It wasn't even sour, though.
No, it wasn't sour at all.
It was
so really good. I gave it a 5. I thought it was just perfectly executed.
It was 4.5. I think I gave it a 4.5. That was a great example. I mean, it tasted. It was all peach. It was like a peach cobbler. It was.
Well, if you didn't see the episode, now you got the spoiler, so you don't need to go watch it.
Oh,
no, watch
sorry.
it. Go watch it. Give us
those
views,
watch.
guys. Well, that's it. You got a 4.0, 3.5.
Yep.
Day 13, Advent calendar.
In the can.
In the can. Tomorrow, day 14.
14.
We're creeping up on day 17. Day 17, we're all going to be here for the Advent extravaganza once again. That's it.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I can stop this video with my watch, and that's what I'm going to do.
Bye-bye.
See y'all later.
Bye-bye.